Welcome to Celeb Scene Central. Ahead of the opening of Longlegs in theaters this weekend, distributor Neon released a video of star Maika Monroe's first encounter with Nicolas Cage in full makeup as the titular satanic serial killer. The crew taped a small mic onto her chest so that they could pick up the thumping of her heartbeat, which, according to Neon, reached 170 beats per minute upon witnessing Cage's performance in full makeup and prosthetics. For context, Monroe's resting pulse is 76 BPM. Because I was freaking out, about to have a panic attack, they were able to pick up my heart beating, the actress remembers of that day on set in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. It was absolutely crazy. Director Osgood Perkins intentionally kept the two actors apart until it came time for this particular scene, which wasn't all that hard. Longlegs follows Monroe's FBI agent Lee Harker, who's tracking the Longlegs serial killer, a figure who's constantly lurking in the periphery. Even when audiences catch him walking through Lee's house in the background of an early moment in the movie, that's not played by Cage himself, but rather a comparably tall stand-in. Cage is 6 feet tall. It's only after Lee's colleagues on the force apprehend Longlegs in his car along the road that she finally has a one-on-one interrogation. It's the sole sequence Monroe had with Cage, who tells EW separately, "That scene for me was the explosive scene in the script and the reason why I wanted to make the movie. I was filled with anticipation the whole time I was shooting to get to that scene. That day on set felt different," Monroe says. "There was this buzzing tension everywhere, even down to the production assistants. Everyone knew that this was the day, this was the scene. I think also there's a layer of pressure. There's so many things that were packed into that day. Seeing Nick for the first time in costume, I hadn't seen any photos or anything before, so that was shocking. Also, not only was I seeing Nick, or rather Longlegs, for the first time, but the cameras were rolling at this point. It was this very surreal, very nerve-wracking experience." The actress, who made a splash in the horror genre with cult hit It Follows, 2014, remembers that sense of dread permeating throughout Perkins' entire script. She had an immediate response when reading it for the first time and knew she wanted to be a part of this project, particularly after getting to the description of Longlegs himself, which she says, felt very unique. "I just loved this sort of plastic surgery gone wrong. I was like, what in the world," she notes. "It created this image in my head." Monroe delivers an impressive performance in her own right for Longlegs. She plays Lee as someone who feels uncomfortable in nearly every environment that she's in, constantly plagued by past trauma she can't quite remember. There's also a supernatural element where perhaps she's connected to something well beyond the mortal plane that guides her acute level of perception. "At the end of the day, I think she is supernaturally touched," Monroe agrees. "She's got help in a sense. I think that she and Longlegs are intertwined in a sense, and he is guiding her. So I think there is a supernatural aspect to her intuitiveness." Monroe acknowledges that level of performance takes its toll, but she found ways to decompress. "I've figured out the easiest ways for me to tap into that darkness and then get out of it," she says. "It entails a lot of viewings of classic rom-coms, like 10 Things I Hate About You, You've Got Mail, and When Harry Met Sally. It's a proven process after years of being the crucial ingredient in many horror and thriller titles, from The Guest, 2014, to Significant Other, 2022, to Watcher, 2022. Monroe is now planning to return to the film that put her on the map by starring in a sequel to It Follows, called They Follow, reuniting her with writer-director David Robert Mitchell. "Genuinely, this script is so good. It's so good on so many levels," Monroe says. "David is just so brilliant. He really is. I've said this before in other interviews, but he wouldn't make a sequel if he didn't think that he had the best FING idea for it. He's just not that type of filmmaker or person. It's so special. It's still very, I don't know, unique. There's just something about it. I'm so excited to step back into that role. I think it's going to be challenging, but just such a joy." Will fans be able to guess the plot of They Follow, or is the concept, much like Longlegs, so unexpected? "I mean, maybe," she replies. "I would be shocked if someone did."